Number 5. For points -4, -4, and 7, 1, what is the slope? So again, we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I like drawing my fraction bar and put 2 minus bars. So I'm going to put my y's on top and my x's on bottom. So my y's are 1 and -4, and my x's are 7 and -4. And then I'm going to do 1 minus a -4, which turns into 1 plus 4 over 7 plus 4, and that's going to end up being 5 over 11. That means this line goes up 5 and right 11. Number 6, use the slope formula to find A, the missing coordinates of point E that creates a slope that is -1. Okay, so I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and I want that to equal -1. So I'm going to draw this right here, put my 2 minus signs. I'm going to put my y's on top, so -6 and -3 go on top. And then on the bottom, I'm going to put 3 in the A. Now then, I'm going to make this slope equal to -1 over 1. Now then, to get this answer, we're going to have to simplify the top first, so I'm going to go down here. This is going to turn into -6 plus 3, which will be -3, won't it? So I'll have -3 over 3 minus A equals -1 over 1. Now then, how do you solve a proportion? You cross multiply. So -3 times 1 is -3, and -1 times 3 minus A. So I'm going to do -1 times 3 minus A. -1 times 3 is -3. -1 times -A is a plus A. Okay, and then I'm going to move the 3 over, and I will get 0 equals A. So if you put 0 in here, you would get -1 over, you would end up with -3 over 3, which would be your -1. So A would be 0 to give you a slope of -1. Number 7, given the points -2, -3 and 0, 5, which of the following points is collinear with points A and B? So we got to figure out which of these points is on the same line. So let's find our slope, and we're going to plug them into point slope and see which one would work. So we need our slope, so I'm going to do fraction bar minus minus. I'm not going to write down the equation. I'm going to put my y's on top, 5 and -3. Technically, the easiest way to do this is to graph these 2 dots and then plot them. And then on the bottom, I'm going to put 0 and -2. Find my slope. It's going to be 5 plus 3, which is 8, over 0 plus 2, which is 2. My slope's going to be 4. Okay, so now I'm going to use point slope. Y minus y1 equals 4 parentheses x minus x1. And I'm going to use one of these points. Let's use the 0, 5. So I'm going to, this is my x, this is my y. So I'm going to replace the y with 5. Y minus 5 equals 4 parentheses x minus 0. So I'm going to have y minus 5 equals 4x. Move over the 5. So I get y equals 4x plus 5. Now then, we got to plug in x and get our y as a number. And this is going to be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to put 4x plus 5 right here. If I plug in -4, 4 times -4 would be -16 plus 5. That does not equal -12, so that one's wrong. Let me plug in 3. I'm going to take this 3 and plug it right here. 4 times 3 is 12, and 12 plus 5 would be 17. That doesn't equal 17, does it? So that one's wrong. Now I'm going to plug in 2. If I put 2 in here, 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 plus 5 would be 13, wouldn't it? 13 checks. So if I input my 2, I output my 13, and let's try the last one. If I input a -1, I'll get a 1, won't I? And this one is 2, so that one's wrong. So the one that would work would be 2, 13.